Welcome to the Google for Startup Accelerator AI First Demo Day. Woo-hoo! Showcasing the achievement, our 8 seed to Series A startups have accomplished over the 10-week program time. My name is Christine Song. I'm the program lead for the Google for Startup Accelerator in Australia. And something that I've noticed in all my travels to Australia is that how important it is to pay respects to the traditional custodians of the land in which we are gathered today. With that being said, I would like to welcome Michael West.
Thank you, Christine. Great, we got the AV right. That's okay. It's mistakes like that happen. What I was going to say, Pujari Gamarua Gadigal is where we are. G'day is what I said. And that here, obviously, is where we're on the land of the Gadigal, one of the 29 clans of the Eora Nation. Across that beautiful coat hanger, we have Camaragal. If we were out in a traditional canoe, bark canoe, it'd be called a Nawi. And paddling out there on if not the most beautiful harbour in the world, if you would near the Opera House, you would look there, and that piece of land's called Jubbagali, not only Bennelong Point, because Bennelong had a place there, it's called Jubbagali, and there was an island there, and there were middens there. The middens were taken, and they were used as lime in the first mortar. So if you go down to Macquarie Street, like the Mint, or if you go down to Tullawallada, which is the rocks, and you look at Argyle Street and those old buildings, which are now restaurants and other event centres, you will see little specks of shell, and that's where they come from. And I actually did see a bigger piece of shell like that. What I was going to say, where we are, if we were to head inland, you would be on Wongal on our left, and that's where Olympic Park is too. And the other side is Wallamadigal, and that's where Ryden that is. We keep going, we hit Barra Madigal, Barra meaning eel. There's a whole creation story about Sydney Harbour and the waterways being carried by a giant Barra. Barra is just resting off at East Balmain, a little isle called Memel or Memel. It's just part of the history of here. Our totem's very important. The whales are part of totems up and down the coast, and Gadigal is part of their totems. And there's a beautiful whale engraving over on the north side. On Camaragal, Ball's Head, and then there's also a shark engraving at Berry Island. They're just some of the things that are around here. So culture's all around. Other totems is Bunda in central New South Wales, which is kangaroo, and we have Dinawan, which is emu. Obviously they're on our coat of arms, but they're also two animals that don't go backwards. It's important to understand that, but also understand looking behind you and looking at the history is so important and learning from it. What I was going to say, there's a somewhat of a bird that's been somewhat marginalised, another one of our totems. It's a beautiful white bird, black tail feathers, a long neck and a long beak, yes. It has a parallel with Aboriginal people when you think about it. It's dispossessed of country, the wetlands, because we had those terrible droughts, didn't we? And it's come to live in the city. It never lived in the city here before, only probably out at west a little bit. And it's been blamed for its situation, but it's a beautiful bird. It's called the ibis, yes, the sacred ibis, also sacred in Egyptian culture. Don't call me a bin chicken, thanks, on the sacred ibis. It's not my fault I'm going through the bin, it's your fault as humans. You haven't cared for me country, so I've had to come and live with you. So yes, that's important to remember that. It has kept me sane, seeing the ibis through the pandemic we've been going through, and just seeing a young one with a small beak in my front yard and its parents looking after it, one on the roof and one on the side for 2 weeks caring for it. And then also seeing an elder ibis taking 3 younger ones in a V pattern for flying lessons. And I was thinking about it when I was watching, I said, it's just like the elders passing down skills and knowledge, and you've been learning skills and knowledge, haven't you, the last 8 weeks? So there are parallels. And also, the government, they did have an idea where they probably, I know they were there for a long time at Lake Gillawana between Bankstown and Liverpool. I used to ride my bike out that way. And the government had this wonderful idea of collecting 15 ibises, getting them vet checked, worm, vaccinated, tagged, taking them out to where they originally came from. And you know what happened? The birds beat them back to the city, yes. they didn't think about the dynamics of their little families and their little community. Also, I found one recently passed out the front. I think it got hit by one of the cars. I did give it a proper burial. I think it's important to respect Mother Nature. I said, Ivy, look, you're born here, you're growing here, your family here, your community here, now your spirit's going to be here with them. And then a few weeks later, there was a little ibis in the tree above, yes, for 2 weeks. So everything is connected in the scheme of things. It's important to remember that. And it's important one other thing they're doing is they're taking on cane toads. Yes, Google Stress and Wash the ibis with cane toads. What it's doing is picking them up, shaking them by the head at the water, and then washing them continually to get rid of all that poison. How clever is that? Clever, isn't it? Yes. What I was going to say too is that it's important we take a moment's silence, pay respects to ancestors, pay respects to Mother Earth. It is so important to do that, and pay respects to all Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, tradition owners, elders and custodians, of past, present, and looking after country and spirit of country, as Google has a reconciliation action plan. I think you're on maybe your third or fourth, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But Mel's full supportive of it, and everyone at Google. And also, reflect your journey right here, right now, at this point in time. So if we could have a moment's silence, a moment of paying respect, thanks. We have 3 beautiful rivers. We have the Hawkesbury, Nepean and Georges. They're the boundaries of the Eora Nation. On behalf of Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council members and elders, welcome everyone here. Enjoy your time here. Do make the most of the opportunity you have. It's important to keep learning and keep learning the skills that you do need. I'm still studying. I think it's so important. We all want you to, from the members and elders, enjoy your time here, safe journey, make the most of the opportunity. Remember, you've got the festive season coming up. Yes, is everybody looking forward to it? Remember, it's only a short lockdown with your family. You probably know all their traits, all their idiosyncrasies, and hopefully you're still loving them. And you have a great, safe festive season. Please take the time out to look after yourself, because it has been some very difficult years the last few years. And always was, always will be Aboriginal land, never ceded. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Before introducing you to our amazing 8 finalists, I would like to welcome our first guest speaker, and Director of Engineering at Google Australia, Roisin Parks.
Thanks very much, Christine, and welcome everybody. So my name's Roisin Parks. As Christine mentioned, I'm the Director of Engineering here at Google. I lead the Fitbit team that's based here in Sydney. I'm also the PA site rep for P&E, which is a lot of acronyms that mean absolutely nothing to you, but essentially it means that I look after, or I try and represent the whole engineering team here at the site to make sure we're maintaining a strong engineering culture and continue to hire amazing talent at Google, and to create a sense of community across our different PAs. So we've got lots of different product areas that we work on here in Google, including Maps, Fitbit, Chrome, Photos, SRE, and lots of others. So I joined 3.5 years ago, and I joined a new project that we were starting here in Sydney that was kind of like a startup within Google. Like all startups, there was a good chance of failure, but we managed to succeed, and we launched our new product earlier this year, the Fitbit Ace LTE, which is a wearable for kids that encourages activity through play and allows independence for them and peace of mind for parents through calling, messaging, location, etc. So unfortunately, it's not yet available in Australia. We just launched in the US for now. So I started out my career as a software engineer in Ireland, working for a startup in Ireland that eventually became a public company and a big success story for homegrown tech companies in Ireland at the time. So I first moved to Australia in 2000. I felt that the tech industry here at that time was relatively immature compared to what I'd seen in Ireland at the time. I moved back to Ireland a few years later after working here for a few years, realized I'd made a terrible mistake in terms of the weather and everything else, so decided that I wanted to be back in Australia. So I moved back to Australia in 2015, And actually, it was incredible to see the difference in the tech industry in such a short period of time. So we now have these amazing Australian founded companies that were taking on the world. So the likes of Atlassian, Canva, Safety Culture, and lots of others, supported by VCs like Blackbird, Airtree, and Startup Accelerator programs like StartMate and Murudi. And I think apart from Atlassian, none of these companies had existed when I'd previously been in Australia. So it was incredible to see the difference in such a short period of time. Since working at a startup in Ireland, I benefited from a really strong startup culture in Ireland and witnessed the incredible impact that a strong tech industry and startup ecosystem can have on the actual economy of the country and the standard of living for every person living in that country. So I'm deeply passionate about ensuring that we continue to have a healthy, growing tech ecosystem here in Australia. So when the team reached out to me to ask if I would be interested in being involved in the Google for Startups Accelerator program for AI-first startups, naturally I jumped at the chance. So I was part of the original selection committee that reviewed many of the dozens of applications that that looked to be a part of this program. And the standard was extremely high, as I'm sure you've all witnessed over the last few weeks. So what a thrill it was to go through each pitch deck and hear about the awesome things that are happening in AI right here in Australia. And I believe we have a huge opportunity in Australia right now to lead the way in terms of AI innovation. We have the talent. We have the great AI research capabilities within our universities and institutions such as the CSIRO. We have the VC funding. We have the startup ecosystem, especially now, also with our Google for Startups Accelerator program. So Google has been an AI-first company for some time now, and we have the benefit of decades of research by some of the finest brains in the world, including now 2 Nobel Prize winners. Google Research in Australia was actually formed in 2022, and their mission is to drive advances in AI and deep learning and apply those advances to benefit our users, our products, and our society at large. So some of the key areas of research we've kicked off here in Australia include hearing, quantum, responsible AI, bioacoustics, with partnerships including Cochlear, Macquarie University, and CSIRO, looking at everything from mapping kelp forests to identifying endangered birds, through to mapping whale populations and migrations. So over the past few decades, we've seen several big shifts in the tech industry that have fundamentally changed how we interact with technology, but also the birth and growth of companies that would not have been possible without that innovation. Google started out fundamentally as an internet search company and would not have existed before the arrival of the internet. Another big change was in the introduction of mobile phones, which I'm sure many of you remember, which wasn't that long ago. Smartphones, I mean. And I remember being, at the time, flabbergasted at the thought that anyone would do any major task or make any major purchase on a smartphone. And recently I had the pleasure of buying a new car. And I did it all on apps on my phone, between searching for the car, actually making the purchase, transfer of ownership, insurance, and registration. All happened on the phone, which would have been unthinkable even 15 years ago. So AI, I think, will fundamentally change the way that we do business and the types of businesses that exist and the way we carry out tasks as humans. So Sundar Pichai, our CEO, recently said that AI is the most profound technology that humanity is working on, even more profound than fire or electricity. And what a privilege it is to witness this evolution. And who knows, the next Google of AI could be in this room. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it back to Christine. Thank you.
Thank you, Roshin. Now our head of VC and startup ecosystem in JPEG, of FACE, I'm sure you're all very familiar with. Please welcome Michael Langford.
In the room. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. I'm very excited and honored to be standing up in front of you all tonight. I'm going to say a few words. For those that don't know me, I'm Mike Langford, so I head up the VC and startup ecosystem at Google Cloud across Asia Pacific, but based here in Sydney. I have been at Google for 12 years, which means next year I become a teenager. Watch out. The slightly tragic thing is I was actually in that building across the park for 4 years before that with Accenture, so I've actually been there for 16 years, which might be time to go somewhere else. So let me just click through. There we go. Got it. So in my current role, I work with investors to bring innovation to their portfolio companies, so helping them build, grow, and scale with Google Cloud. In addition to that, I've been supporting Google for Startups for about 7 years, and this is driven by a passion to build the ecosystem, to meet founders, and of course be on the forefront of technology. So Australia's startup ecosystem is thriving. Yes, the landscape around funding is currently fairly challenged, but it hasn't slowed down the pace of growth and the innovation of startups. As I consider different ways to show this in a slide, I decided this image from Airtree was probably the best. So between 1990 and 2000, there were just 9 tech companies, so the likes of Seek, Car Sales, and REA Group. For those of you that can't see, there's some logos there. And then in 2000, over the following decade, between 2000 and 2010, 24 additional companies hit $100 million valuations. So here you're seeing Atlassian, Safety Culture, and a few more marketplaces. Between 2010 and 2020, this number exploded to 62 tech companies. And now you're starting to see a lot of the familiar names in the startup ecosystem. So Canva, Linktree, CultureAmp, GoOne, Harrison AI, and so on. So this final set of logos is just within the last 4 years. I counted 139 tech companies. And this picture was actually compiled at the start of the year. And they're scaling faster than ever. This graph is a little bit old now. I'm pretty sure Leonardo.ai blew all of these out the water. But you can get the idea, right? So what took Car Sales 8 years to reach $10 million ARR took a cloud guru just 1 year. And Australia is now home to 14 unicorns at last count. Those are just the startups that have reached $1 billion valuation and remain private. So I don't think I need to convince anyone in this room the importance of startups in the future of Australia's digital economy. And for us at Google, they also play an important role, right? They're future customers, partners, and potential M&A opportunities. So before we get into the details of the accelerator, I just wanted to quickly put into context how Google supports startups in Australia. I've grouped them into 4 buckets. So firstly, Google for Startups, whose mission is to support thriving, diverse, and inclusive startup communities around the world. There are a number of different offerings, one of which is the Accelerator program. Google for Developers, which supports developers in a number of ways. So they operate in a one-to-few-to-many model, building developer communities and external developer experts to boost Google technology advocacy, adoption, quality, and perception. The third, Google Workspace, been there for a while, within Google Cloud. So we have the Google for Startups Cloud program, which provides technical, business, and financial support to startups building on Google Cloud. Google Workspace, which is often the first starting point for many of the startups and businesses in Australia. And then my team building partnerships with investors to support their portfolio companies. And finally, broader Google. So there are many, many products and teams across Google that support startups. One of the biggest is our ads team, who have an initiative called Grow with Google that supports SMBs on their advertising journey. There are also a couple of internal programs that I've built over the last few years, which are really on a mission to inspire, educate, and connect Googlers to the startup ecosystem. So Think Like an Entrepreneur is an educational program, and Oz Angels is a group interested in private market investing. These are 9 of the 27 events the VC Partnerships team have run or supported in 2024. And this is a combination of our own events, such as Empower and Women in Tech Connect, which were both designed to uplift women founders. VC Connect and CTO Connect, which was providing the latest AI updates to the VC and tech founder community. And then partner events working with many of the VCs in the room, Antler, Techstars, Blackbird, Airtree, and more. By the way, you see that bottom picture, the VC founder paddle. In Startup Daily last week, I saw the headline, "How did basketball take over startup land?" Actually, I think it's all about paddle, and we started it, so that'll be the next headline. Okay, so let's zoom into the AI First Accelerator. I'm sure many of you know most of the details of it already. It's a 10-week equity-free accelerator for seed to Series A startups. So we're targeting startups a bit later in their journey than many of the accelerators out there. And the aim is to help them solve a chunky problem they're facing and develop the network to accelerate their success. We had 116 applications from AI startups around Australia. And so to whittle these down, we formed a high-powered selection committee, and many of you are here today. And then we had the tough task of scoring the submissions and progressing through a number of finalists. So thank you to everyone that got involved with this. And then here are the finalists who successfully sweated the interviews and sufficiently impressed the selection committee to secure their spot in our first ever Google for Startups Accelerator. I, for one, and Rashim for two, was exceptionally impressed with all of these startups through the selection process and have had the pleasure to work with a few of them already. You'll be meeting each of these brilliant founders shortly. As part of the program, we provided access to over 50 Google mentors who ran sessions and office hours to help the founders navigate the challenges and unlock the opportunities. And this is a cross-Google group from product to engineering to ads to cloud and more. A huge thank you to all of you for spending time with this cohort. And then we also involved a number of industry experts who gave the educational talks and joined panels over the course of the accelerator. Some incredibly powerful sessions from a team of top talent. Thank you all for being part of this. And then finally, our steerco. So our MC, Christine, who led the accelerator from conception to today, with many a red-eye flight from Korea, always arriving with a fresh face and bright smile. Georgie, that I'm sure you're all familiar with, and why she's sitting right at the back. Such a champion for our cohort, making sure everything is executed with precision, and most importantly, that everyone walks away with some extra special swag. And then the face that is the unsung hero, Scott Riddle, who was able to navigate the funding to bring this accelerator to life. I've been wanting and hoping to bring this accelerator to Australia for over 5 years, and Scott made it happen. So well done, and thank you, Scott. So this is what we have built up to for the demo day. 58 workshops, 40 bootcamp hours, with over 22 active cohort members. I'll leave you with this video showing some behind-the-scenes footage at bootcamp week. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this journey, and best of luck to the founders for your demos.
Google for Startup Accelerator program is Google's flagship accelerator program. Our team has been running the program for the past 7 or 8 years, and we have supported close to 1,300 startups to accelerate through our program.
What excites us about partnering with Google for the next 10 weeks is to being able to tap into the rich experience and ecosystem of Google Cloud, the experts there, and being able to really accelerate what we're trying to do as a company.
The biggest thing we're excited about is the mentors, for sure. So getting access to people that are experts in their field.
We're excited to partner with Google over the next 10 weeks and beyond to really accelerate what we're doing and bring in some world-class expertise into our product.
Yeah, I think mentoring and the accessibility to all of these people with amazing amounts of knowledge is just golden for us.
My favorite session was with all about people and culture and how to build the team up.
I love the depth of knowledge of the speakers. They gave you an understanding of how deep knowledge can actually go.
The best part is being around other founders so we can bounce ideas.
I mean, the other founders, just speaking to them about their experiences and also just being able to share with them, I think building relationships that we'll be able to keep outside of this is fantastic.
time does fly. As you can see, we had quite a journey together to come this far. So please give a big round of applause for our 8 finalists. So now we'll start with Marco. Please welcome Marco to the stage.
Hi everyone, my name's Jesse Clark. I'm co-founder and CTO at Marco and really excited to talk to you today. Before I start, I just want to have a show of hands. Who's ever bought something online? Right, everyone. Who's ever had difficulty trying to find what they're looking for online? Right, everyone. So this is one of the problems that we solve. So we provide the infrastructure and the intelligence so our customers can help their customers find what they're looking for through really good search and recommendations. Redbubble generated an extra $9 million in revenue by using Marco's multimodal machine learning to power their search bar. Envato they're a stock image and stock assets company. They sell this to graphic designers, for example. They're able to increase their downloads and engagements once they moved to Marco. When you used to search for things like backgrounds on Envato, you were greeted with pictures of pasta shells. After Marco, you were greeted with vibrant, colourful backgrounds. From signing up to production A/B testing in as little as 5 days. So the time to value with Marco is very short. And this is enabling developers to take this really good AI technology and implement it very quickly. All of this technology is really a credit to the team. So my co-founder and CEO, Tom, I'm joined here today by the VP of Engineering as well from Pandu, as well as many trusted advisors and our investors. So one of the key things is that we're currently built on AWS, and that's where we started. However, many of our customers cannot and will not be able to use AWS as the underlying infrastructure provider. And so we need to have multi-cloud, and so we need to be able to onboard customers to things like GCP. And that's what we've been able to accomplish as part of the accelerator. So I'd like to welcome Pandu onto the stage to give a quick demo of what this looks like.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks, Jesse. So we'll have a look now at what it's like for our customers and our customers' engineers, as well as what it looks like for their end users. So this is creating a new account on Marco backed by GCP. So start by just filling out your account name, and you select Google Cloud. And here is where you would enter your billing details. So let's go to an already created account, and we'll spin up an index. So an index is where you would ingest your documents for your e-commerce catalog and where you would search against. So first of all, you name it. And we're going to do an image index because a lot of e-commerce products have like images, and that's a very important part of selling them. So we're going to choose a Marco trained model, this e-commerce model, which is a state-of-the-art model trained by our science team. We're going to select a GPU node for the infrastructure. And we'll just click create. So this wouldn't have been possible. Basically, what we did was we got this done in about 2 months, as opposed to the original version of the cloud, which we did over 4 months. So that was only possible thanks to the help from the Google Accelerator team, so shout out to them. So it takes about 5 minutes to spin up one of these indexes. So we'll go to an index that's already made so we can test it out. So you can simply use the snippets to start using the index. So you can imagine as a developer, for one of our customers, they just go here, copy the snippet here, just a curl request, paste it into their terminal. You can see the query there, it's a flying plane. And then they get results back straight away. So yeah, that's the query here is text. And we match a flying plane document. You can see the highlight here is actually an image URL. So this is saying that it actually matched against this image represented by this URL. So we can see what this URL looks like. And it is indeed a flying plane. So that's text to image search straight away. So really easy to get started for our customers, developers. So let's have a look at what it looks like for our customers and users. So here we are on Envato's photo search, which is backed by Marco. So what we'll do is we'll do a query here. So we're doing a very specific query, a dog and a cat looking at at the camera. So a very, very specific query, and we can see like the results are highly relevant, and kind of exactly what a customer is looking for. So this is a very good experience for the end user, so which is the main value that Marco provides. So yeah, next steps for us is to onboard a couple of customers in the next quarter, one of which has hundreds of billions of dollars worth of revenue, so that's super exciting. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse and Pando. It was incredible. We have a question for you. We saw a lot of e-commerce use cases, but can Marco be used for other domains?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we provide, yes, underlying search and recommendation technology. And so this can be used for many other domains. So we have a lot of e-commerce customers, but you can use it for any kind of AI application will effectively need some search. And so we see, retrieval augmented generation, chatbots. We see verticals around, in the medical domain. We see sales and RevOps. So it's really, really pervasive, this technology, and very widely applicable. So yeah, and definitely come and speak to us. Any search problems, this is us.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Up next is GigaBuddies. Please welcome GigaBuddy.
Hi, I'm Dan, and my speaker notes are not on the thing, so. There we go. Hi, I'm Dan, co-founder and co-CEO of GigaBuddy. And this is Alida, my co-founder and co-CEO. We met during tough times. After years leading security at CultureAmp, I found myself battling chronic fatigue syndrome. I stumbled into Alida's online health community where she offered me a helping hand. She became my GigaBuddy, and that's how we found our shared passion for helping people through technology. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's a GigaBuddy? And this slide's a little rough. Well, that's because GigaBuddy drew it, and GigaBuddy isn't much of an artist. The important thing is we did it together, and that's what GigaBuddy is all about, collaboration. Working with AI feels increasingly alienating, like it's doing all the work, but you have no control. That's where GigaBuddy steps in. We're building collaborative AI that's not just smart, it's fun, friendly, and supportive. Take it away, Alida.
Hi everyone, I'm Alida. This is Teddy, my little buddy. Imagine if your little buddy could talk to you, draw with you, mentor you. Well, when I wake up in the morning, I tend to be overwhelmed with everything I have to do, but Rusty makes it a lot less stressful.
Oh, a busy day. Let's tackle it. Show me your timetable pick.
Here you go, but I have 4 other things I have to add somewhere.
Okay, Alida, deep breaths. You've got a packed day already. Let's sneak in those extra bits. After the 5 p.m. workshop, let's do the birthday thing for your boyfriend. Check out this spiffy new timetable I whipped up. Meetings, workshops, lunch. No clashes, I promise.
When the afternoon comes around, I join a Google Meet with Humans for Good, a social impact community. There's 20 people on this call, and together we're designing a deck of conversation cards. Rusty is an expert in workshop facilitation.
Let's make this interactive. Below the title, I want you to draw 3 big circles. Each circle will represent a main theme for our conversation cards. Let's label them kindness, community, and environment.
During this workshop, Rusty takes us through an exploratory process. He can connect loose ideas on the whiteboard and gently guides us to reach our objective.
Think about questions that will get people sharing their own experiences. For example, what's the kindest thing someone did for you this week? We've got a solid base. Now, let's spice things up a bit. Let's draw some playful lines connecting similar ideas across the different themes. Let's use the whiteboard again. Look at that whiteboard. It's a thing of beauty. 40 amazing questions, ready to spark some seriously good conversations.
It's time to head to my brother's house. On Mondays, I read my nephew a story, but today, we're co-creating one together.
What kind of story are we making today? Super! Dragons and swords! First, let's give our hero a face.
Story creator Rusty helps kids use their imagination and fosters their creativity.
Liam looks super cool. What's the first thing that happens in Liam's adventure? So Liam walks through this amazing land and makes a new pal. What's the next bit of Liam's adventure? A dragon snatches Liam's pet? That's a bummer. Okay, Liam's got to get that pet back. Super! Liam grabs his magic sword. That's brave. Liam slices the dragon open. Tilly's safe. A high five. Amazing.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Alita. Cute dog. As you can see, GigaBuddy is more than a companion. GigaBuddy is a platform for collaboration and fun. But that's just the beginning. You can add new capabilities to GigaBuddy just by teaching it. Through collaborating with GigaBuddy, people can create their own custom experiences and share them with the world. GigaBuddy is where you are, on your phone, in your Slack, and on your desktop, all powered by the GigaBrain, our real-time reasoning platform living on Google Cloud. The GigaBuddy Studio, our visual no-code builder, enables us to build complex reasoning interactions at lightning speed. Now, we haven't got here on our own. We've had some help from our own GigaBuddies. Working with Google kept us creative and focused us on our big vision. They encouraged us to follow our dreams and helped us navigate the possibilities. Thanks, Google. We have a wonderful team with deep experience across AI, engineering, psychology, entertainment, and business, and well over 50 years of tech startup experience between us. We've also been lucky to have the support of some amazing investors. In the coming years, people's lives will change dramatically due to AI. We believe how it feels to work with AI matters as much as what it can do. We want GigaBuddy to be a safe place for people to create, share, and collaborate with AI and each other. GigaBuddy is AI putting humans first. We'd love for you to be the first to try out GigaBuddy. If you're interested, you can scan the QR code here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Rusty was amazing. But can you tell us more about what's going on behind the scene? Like, which AI model did you use?
Yeah, thanks, Christine. Good question. So Rusty is actually, a lot of Rusty is powered by Gemini. So his warm personality and humor is actually coming from Gemini Pro, which has been really impressive. But the architecture we have allows us to use lots of different models. So we're mixing it up between the Flash model and the Pro model, depending on the use case, as well as using a little bit of Anthropic's Claude for some of the pieces of the process. But the great thing about what we built is we can take the state of the art as it develops and integrate it very quickly into our system.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Dan. So up next is Aseti. So please welcome Aseti to the stage.
Hi everyone, I'm Nemo.
And I'm Angus, the founder of Aseti, a platform used by real asset owners to predict, plan, and operate their property assets. So in terms of the market we play in, it is truly enormous. Anything that's a non-residential building is effectively part of our addressable market. That's 1 trillion square feet. That is an enormous challenge that can only be addressed using AI. And so for some companies, AI is fun or novel to use, but for us, it's really key to scale and actually being able to capture the addressable market. What you see here on the screen with the green dots, this is out of our admin system a few days ago, so about 135,000 properties currently managed in Aseti with their condition across Australia and the US. In terms of generating insights on those, we have had challenges in the past with people in the loop, humans in the loop, and that's really what we wanted to address here with Google.
So as you can imagine, our enterprise customers have anything between hundreds to tens of thousands of assets that need to be captured and processed into our platform. Our current processing capability has an AI model, but generally it takes about 3 to 5 days to process those assets and put into our platform for the customer to get their insights and get the aha moment of our product, which is a significant bottleneck as we start to scale and grow into the US market.
So in terms of our existing state, we've got tens of millions of images, components, defects that exist in our system. But due to some previous decisions we made, these existed in a range of formats, lines, points, and areas. And that was something that we addressed as part of this challenge or as part of this process. So we generated a tagging tool internally that enabled us to transition point components to area components. And our team tagged a portion of that, and then we'll get into some more around that. But it was really about being able to bring on these new component types. Height safety is an example. As height safety regulations change, more and more new component types are coming in that we're starting to detect in the system, and they're becoming quite prevalent. And being able to bring these on at speed is really important. So what we're looking at here is sort of the output of the AI itself. And so, effectively what we're seeing here is each individual component on the roof, so colour-bond sheeting, polycarbonate, etc. What we see down the right-hand side is an alignment process as well. So because we see this data over time, it's really essential for us to know that it's the same colour-bond sheet 10 times rather than 10 new colour-bond sheets, because this feeds directly into the asset hierarchy that we generate for the customer. And what we can see down the very bottom right is a completely snapped-in image, fully automated, that was from a new survey, completely aligned to the site, snaps the components on without any human intervention.
So our original model had initially started with humans, with AI, then human QC. And as you can imagine, it takes a long time. So what used to take 3 to 5 days, with our new model, we're looking at about a couple of hours. We're getting about a 65% accuracy rate, and it's significantly unlocked our processing capabilities.
So we thought, how best to put it into action for this than do the Google Data Center Network in the US. And so we detected 15 locations across the data centers that we found. We were able to find 214 assets or buildings on those sites, and then across those buildings we componentized it into about 5,500 components on the building envelope. What we'll do is we'll sort of run through a demo of it here. So this is a data center in Texas, Midlothian Data Center. And so what we're seeing on the left-hand side is the asset hierarchy that's been built out automatically by the AI. So we receive the visual imagery, and we build this out. We give condition scores, forecasts, replacement costs, etc. And we're going back and forward here on the timeline. And then this will work through the system. We have high resolution sort of levels that come in. And then this will be used for the defect detection. And
And the only critical issue that we found was Bezos trying to get into the GCP secret source.
So obviously, really important issues that we help customers detect.
So what does this mean for us? So as we move forward, we're looking at adding hundreds and thousands of new components into our platform and being able to unlock our scaling capabilities into the new market, especially the United States, which has property like there's no tomorrow.
So in terms of a thank you, the whole Google team, Christine, Georgie, Scott and Mike, everybody else, and Trent, obviously, my God, sorry. Speaker notes did not turn up, Trent, or they actually did. So Trent's been amazing, our anchor tech mentor, across the process. I had a child born in the process, and Trent really actually stepped in to support the team too. So amazing. That was planned, by the way.
Thank you. It was incredible. Thank you, Nima and Angus. Obviously, data plays a critical part of your business. Can you share with us how you tag the data?
Yeah, so as I said, we had this challenge around point components and transitioning those into a tagging model. So we built a really light tagging interface, used that to effectively build a smaller sample set, which we then ran through a training process to pre-tag a larger training set, effectively, which was then human validated, and we then ran that through. And we continue to use that for bringing new components on a weekly basis. We trained a new one with a random skylight that we've started to find in a specific area in the United States. So it's super valuable and has been great as part of the process.
Thank you so much. This time is for BuildShip, so please welcome BuildShip to the stage.
Hey everyone, I'm Harini. I'm the co-founder and CEO of BuildShip. At BuildShip, we power businesses and product builders to visually build their AI workflows. Now, everyone has and wants to leverage AI, and this is on top of everybody's mind. Now, most of you all have experienced this and used this in personal projects and productivity, maybe using chat UIs or using copilots or building some AI agents. Now, when businesses start to use this, what happens is, obviously, every CEO is thinking about how they can leverage AI, and they are running some kind of experimentations around it, putting teams together and budget in place. But we are seeing that 74% of the surveyed companies feel that they're not really leveraging and getting the value out of these AI projects yet in terms of revenue. So why is this so hard? Well, first of all, when you go beyond that personal productivity and start to incorporate it into your business and putting together this as a workflow for your company, you require some kind of technical skills to integrate it with your developers and dev products and tooling. And you also have to go through a bunch of compliance and security to ensure your data pipelines are built in a secure way. And there's overall complexity that comes around it with day-to-day things like RAG and embedding and things that comes through. So there's a skill gap issue as well. So that's a barrier that we are breaking here with BuildShip, with a new era of visual programming with AI, where you can simply ask what you want to build, and BuildShip takes you 90% of the way by giving you a workflow that works end to end, and then you can tweak and make it your own. And this is not something that is conceptual. We have actually launched the project earlier this year, and we have customers like World Health Organization using BuildShip in various kind of use cases. One of them is building an AI assistant where they are connected to hundreds and thousands of the documents they have, and they have shipped an AI assistant that the emergency and health preparedness team can interact with and get value in terms of getting to the data fast. And this is something they built in days instead of months. So we kind of provide a platform where it's very flexible. It's an infinite AI canvas where they can build their logic step by step, like Lego block style, and connect it to their database, their tools, their existing kind of integrations, and build their logical flow in a format that everybody understands. But it's not a black box. You can actually go down and build APIs, schedule jobs, and backend tasks in a format that even non-technical folks can understand. And what's interesting is we have a wide range of users using BuildShip, because every block that you see on BuildShip, you can go down to code level if you choose to. So you can have developers collaborating on your project as well without any limitation. So we have all sorts of users building unique use cases on BuildShip. And you also have full data control where you can have the data on your own cloud product of your choice, and you can connect it to your system in a way that is highly compliant and secure. Now, we are empowering businesses and industries worldwide in different use cases across different segments of industries, right? So one such use case is insurance provider. So they have an archaic system where they have to connect to their API and verify manually how someone is qualified or not. And this actually led them to use it for weeks and if not months to qualify leads, and they were losing millions in revenue. And with BuildShip and AI, they were able to build this, and actually a non-technical member of this company built this in literally a matter of few days, and they actually generate additional revenue opportunities here. So we are building this with a large community. We have one of the largest community of low-code, no-code, and AI builders globally across in our Discord and various channels. And we have about 100,000 folks in our platform. And we have done this also by partnering with a lot of front-end tools out there. So think of this like a front-end, no-code, visual, drag-and-drop UI builder. We do the same for the back-end. So we pair really well with Webflow Framer and all the other front-end tools that are out there. We also pair it really well with front-end AI-based builders that are out there. And then we are doing a bunch of hackathons and events and partnerships to collaborate and expand on this ecosystem. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. All right, so in the last 10 weeks of the Google AI Accelerator, we really refined our infrastructure in a way that allows us for building this in a zero cost-effective manner. So we have a free plan that is, we don't incur any cost, and people can grow up the plan as they kind of grow up and build their platform and kind of scale up. We also have packaged a lot of the Google Cloud services, such as APIs, Cloud Run, and Schedule Jobs in a one-click, no-code experience. And we have also launched our enterprise plan with BuildShip V2, where we have upgraded and provided certifications. We have deployed over 50K Google Cloud projects and closed 5 enterprise customers in the last 1 week. So we are rapidly growing. And if you'd like to know what's in the y-axis, you can contact me at harni@buildship.com, and you can follow our journey here. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Harini. It was incredible. Can you share a bit about your team and who's behind this?
Yeah, thank you, Christine. So we have a great team behind this. So obviously not just me, my co-founder and I, we worked at Antler. I was head of technology and partner there. I was also a VP of engineering at BlackRock. We have worked with a lot of startups, scale-ups, and enterprises, and really bringing that experience of how companies build fast to this platform. We are also part of the AI grant only company out of APAC region to be part of this, and we are backed by some of the prominent Silicon Valley investors. Yeah.
Thank you, Harini.
Thank you.
So this time is for Sauce. Please welcome Sauce to the stage.
Hey everyone. So my name is James and I'm the co-founder over at Source. So at Source, we're building the AI customer insights platform for product teams. So what do product teams actually do? So they listen to customers. Looking at one of our customers, Linktree, they have 50 million customers, messaging them in all different kinds of scenarios. They could be messaging them over support, so the little chatbot that pops up when you rock up to their website. There's enterprise customers that reach out to their sales teams, to their support teams. They have Slack Connect channels set up with them, and they've thousands of other sources of different surveys that everyone's doing within the organization itself. There's a huge amount of time spent even understanding the customer itself, weeks. All of that effort is put into delivering these top-down static reports that end up getting filed away each quarter. Looking at all the different adjacent users that need to communicate with product. You have sales that end up losing deals. You have support reps that don't actually get to the churn customers because there's this lack of communication between the product and go-to-market teams. So that's where Source comes in. Source is automatically and in real-time listening to all of the sources of information across your sales calls, so all the transcripts are automatically being analyzed, your support, even internally within Slack or anywhere else that you have feedback coming in. We're automatically identifying any particular topics or emerging insights, and we're providing them at the level of actionability to each individual. Now, why is this a problem? Because people that are in leadership want a different level of granularity to an individual PM working on a very specific part of the product. And that's one of the problems we've been working with some of the researchers and other teams around Google over the past couple of weeks. So we've been looking at essentially how do we understand their data better than they do, right? So how do we essentially understand, as their data scales without any human supervision, emerging trends within the feedback? And what are the different AI and UX solutions that we could dive into? So if we take this example down below, CSV uploads has caused massive data problems when I log in. So there's a couple of different entities that could be extracted out of there, but when you try to summarize up to a leadership level, you get these really broad themes that kind of encapsulate everything. So we sort of dived into, we worked with a bunch of customers around, what are they actually trying to do with this information? Well, they're trying to do things like find similar, they're trying to find related topics, they're trying to zoom in and zoom out to get the right granularity they're looking for in order for it to be actionable for them. And everyone within the organization has a different meaning of what actionability actually is. So within this example, some of the solutions that we've been working on with Google as well has been firstly entity extraction, so using a range of NLP and matching algorithms in order to understand entities within feedback and to match them to other particular entities across their data as well. That's a really fancy way of saying with limited context, we want to understand, map, and explore your data better than you do. Entity resolution, so this is when we take up all the different entities that have been extracted and we group them into ways that make sense to the user and are explainable. You can think of this from a Google lens, it's probably closer to Google Trends, like how it's able to take on different search terms and bring them together so that it makes sense to the end user and they're able to explore it. And lastly, we've been looking at different ways to explore from a UX lens as well. This is a representation of all the different feedback for one of our customers. And then the green circles that you're seeing there are different dense regions that are coming up over time. So when I was trying to find out a quote to add into this presentation, someone had actually just done a LinkedIn post. So this is Mel. She's a customer experience lead for Care Patron. And essentially from her perspective, when she's trying to look through a range of different customer support tickets, analyze them, and bring that back to product. This used to take her weeks to do out of her job. Again, this is a lead role, right? And is now done just in a couple of days. And she also has access to this on an emerging scale as well. So huge shout out to obviously all the Google mentors and organizers, with a special shout out to our mentor, Fran, as well. Awesome.
Thank you, James. We have a question for you. What does this unlock the most for customers like Atlassians?
Yeah, for some of our bigger customers like Atlassian, obviously have hundreds of product teams at different levels. So as I mentioned earlier, they all see actionability in a slightly different way, and they all want to explore the data in a slightly different way as well. So that's why it's really important with a lot of the work we've been doing in the past couple of weeks to almost create this map or this web of different contexts that links together. And that's essentially what allows them to get the actionable insights that they're looking for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this time is for Love Heart. Please welcome Love Heart to the stage.
There we go. The first 5 years are the most important in a human being's life. Research shows that quality early education leads to better cognitive, emotional, and social outcomes. And investing in early education doesn't just change the individual's life. It delivers some of the highest returns for society, building a brighter future for everyone. But early education is in crisis. 73% of educators plan to leave the sector within 3 years, and service quality is declining globally. In addition, growing compliance burdens are forcing educators to spend more time on paperwork and less time with children. And that's where LoveHeart comes in. Hi, my name's Himal, and I'm the founder and CEO here at LoveHeart. I've spent the last 15 years in early education, including leading one of Australia's highest quality early education services. I've seen firsthand what's possible when we reimagine early education. And today, I'm thrilled to announce 2 groundbreaking product releases. The first, which is a bold new enhancement to our teachers product, and the second, a brand new product that addresses one of the most costly and complex challenges in early education, continuous compliance. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about teachers. LoveHeart Teachers is the world's most loved AI-first child development platform, with over 50,000 educators and hundreds of centers worldwide, improving their practice, saving 4.2 hours a week, and enhancing educational quality. And educators really love how LoveHeart helps them craft meaningful, developmentally rich documentation. And they also love Coach Sue, their personal practice and pedagogy coach. Coach Sue supports every part of their teaching practice, helping them think critically and grow professionally. And educational organizations know that they can trust LoveHeart. Since day one, we've invested in building a secure, ethical, and private platform, including achieving our SOC 2 compliance, which is a first for our industry, and Sentinel, our intelligent AI-first system that ensures the ethical and safe use of LoveHeart. So building on these innovations in documentation, Coach Sue, ethics, security, and privacy, we're delighted to announce a major enhancement to our teachers product, introducing Collaborative Canvas. Now, Coach Sue and your document canvas sit side by side. And as you write, Coach Sue actively prompts you to think deeper, asking reflective questions and suggesting ways in which you can enrich your documentation. And as you engage in a dialogue with Coach Sue about a child's development, LoveHeart enhances your documentation real time. And as a result, families receive developmentally rich updates beautifully presented. They can explore their child's goals, review their child's development, and even ask Coach Sue for tips to support their child's growth at home. So that's our new collaborative canvas, which puts Coach Sue right beside teachers and families. Now let's talk about our second announcement, compliance. We know that quality early education is good for children and great for educators. And it's also great for business, with exceeding rated services in Australia achieving 15% higher occupancies and being able to charge 10% more a day. However, compliance is a costly business. In Australia alone, managing compliance in early childhood education costs $3 billion a year, and that number continues to grow year on year. Over the past 18 months, we've been testing a prototype system to address this challenge. And with Google's help, we've scaled that prototype into a fully fledged platform that makes compliance easier and more reliable. So here's how it works. Step one, organizations select their regulatory framework and set up the practices that Loveheart will monitor. We're starting with the National Quality Framework for Australia, and we'll be adding more frameworks for New Zealand, Canada, and the United States over upcoming months. Step two, Loveheart automatically gathers the required information and audits its quality for completeness and correctness. Using Loveheart Compliance, centre managers will halve the amount of time they spend on compliance while simultaneously improving quality. For medium and large organisations, they'll be able to scale with confidence, knowing that compliance is continuously monitored. So that's Loveheart Compliance. Both Collaborative Canvas and Compliance are available today in beta. Now, before closing off, we'd like to show our gratitude to the team here at Google who have helped us develop these incredible new solutions for our customers. Particular shout out to Scotty in the back there. We couldn't have done this without you. At Loveheart, we're honoured to lead a new era for early education. Together, we believe we can build a brighter future for every child. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Himal. It was incredible. So compliance seems like a big area to address. So how is it currently managed, and how does Loveheart work to unlock this for organizations?
Yeah, I mean, compliance in early education organizations now is just a mishmash of manual systems, paper, and human intervention. And so in the first instance, Loveheart systemizes the whole compliance framework for an organization. And I think a secondary benefit also is with the AI technologies we've been able to develop, we're now able to monitor consistently the quality of what's happening at a service and assist organizations in raising their quality over time as well.
Thank you so much. So up next is Fetch. Please welcome Fetch to the stage.
Hey everyone, we're Fetch, a pet health and insurance startup in Australia. I'm George, head of product.
I'm Jing, head of AI.
And I'm Fu, CTO.
Okay, so quick question. This is one of our customers, Tilly, 3-month-old Pomeranian with a broken leg. Can anyone guess how much that cost Tilly's parents? Not quite. $20,000. For this little Pomeranian. And right now, about 8 million Aussie pets don't have any cover, so no support whatsoever if anything like this were to happen. So that's why we started Fetch. And one of the cool things about Fetch is we do a lot of the work up front for you. So we check all of your pet's vet records for any pre-existing conditions, so you know exactly what's covered and not. It's all in the app. And then when you go to the vet, we can pay your vet directly while you're there in about 15 minutes. That's my dog, Charlie, as well, on the app. And so when we started, what we had to do is read all the vet history. So reading one vet history is not too hard. This is our team reading one vet history. This is our team reading 10,000 papers of vet histories a month. So I had an idea, and I went to Jing, our head of AI, with PhD in AI, and I said, surely Gemini can help do this for us. And this was Jing's reaction to me.
Yeah, always we can try, right? So in our first attempt, we tried to use large language models to read all the vet history documents, and we find that AI tend to overfit pre-existing condition extractions and miss subtle health issues. And we also find that our team sadly didn't use our workflow that much and was still just reading the PDF, which means they are not that productive as we want them to be. So George and I just went to Andrew, who is our head vet. So we asked, hey, Andrew, can you just write down everything you know into a prompt? And this is how Andrew reacted. So we borrowed Andrew's complicated brain and mapped a quick journey, as quick as you can see. And then we also together, George, me, and Andrew, we wrote a few prompts, well, more like 100 prompts, try to figure out what's the best way to extract key information and medical conditions from vet medical history. And then we asked Fu.
Yeah, so we built this simple workflow, which is gone. Yep, this simple workflow, which I think even our CEO, Phil Wilson-Brown, can understand.
And then, with this simple workflow, me and George asked our agent.
Our mentors. So then we went to our mentors, Cara and Crystal, and they said, why don't you ask your team what they want? And we thought, that's a great idea. So this is our vet team over here. And so we interviewed them, we sat next to them, and we kind of looked at their process flow, and then we reimagined, redesigned the tools we built for them for that. And so this is what we came up with.
Yeah, so you may say it's attempt 2, but it's more like attempt 200. And based on the experts, like what they teach us, we build this timeline view with extracted vet visits and events for our agent to reference. And our AI workflow also flags any TNC issues. And the AI does the first round of checks and pre-fill conditions for our team to approve and reject. So in the end, the AI workflow also automates a lot of process, so which allows our teams to use a quick click button to submit everything to our customers.
Awesome. And yeah, here's a quick demo, a very quick demo. So here's the kind of PDFs that we're reading. This is what our team would be looking at. So once someone signed up, sent us the records, the vet sent us everything. And then instead of looking at those kind of nasty records and all these different documents, everything's kind of extracted into a nice timeline view. So the team can see everything. They can see when the customer got the pet and when they visited the vet. And then our AI kind of pre-selects it, does all the checks for us, selects any pre-existing conditions. The team can kind of look side by side, go back and forth and check it all. And then once it's all done, they can send it off to the customer. And so really what that means is, from a customer's point of view, they can get onboarded really quickly. And for our team, it's not as much work as it was. So if anyone has a pet and they want to sign up for Great Pet Insurance, here's 1 month free. And then as a bit of fun, just to show you how hard it is for the AI, here's some of the fun things we extracted from the vet records. So you can read it. I won't read them out, but you can read them yourself. My favorite's the third from the bottom. Is one of our cute little pets. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Fetch. So as the owner of 3 border collies back in Korea, a lot of money. So I love Fetch Pets. So can you share with us what's next for us?
Yeah, awesome. So we've actually got what you're seeing now live in test now with our vets and vet nurses. So we're getting constant feedback now. All that data is being fully annotated. And we're actually also launching the auto population of our claims data as well this week. And what this means is with all this fully annotated data, we can build quite a comprehensive set of information that we can feed into new product features. One being, we'll give you a lot more information, personalized information for each one of your border collies, and to allow them to have a happier and healthier life.
Thank you so much. Amazing. So last but not least, please welcome Springboards to the stage.
I'm just plugging in a computer. All right, so my name's Pip. I'm one of the founders at Springboards. Springboards is a creative tool designed to inspire, not give you the answers. And the way that we do that is we have designed a suite of AI tools designed around a traditional creative agency process to give them 1,000 possible answers and not just one. It's quite hard to explain what this thing does and what it looks like in words, so we do have a quick 30-second demo showing the tool in action by one of the agencies that are using it. So we might just show that now, and I'll do a bit of a VO, so you guys get a sense of kind of what we do and how we work. So what you're seeing here is about 10 people on a collaborative session. They're going through, they're sparking ideas for a beer brand. They're pinning things that they like, just little thought starters that sparks an idea in their head. They're throwing them onto a canvas, and it's sparking conversations. So what this tool allows people to do is to start exploring and looking under every type of rock to see where an idea could go. So when we started this accelerator program about 12 weeks ago, we set some pretty aggressive targets across the entire business. We redesigned our brand. We nearly launched. We brought on a heap more agencies. But the thing that we really wanted to focus on was our core technical challenge of increasing variation out of language models. So I'm going to throw to a little 3D demo and show you the most exciting dots that I've ever seen. And my team can probably, I don't know what's happened there, that's my fault. My team can probably talk about how excited I got about some dots. And these are the dots that I got excited about. So effectively, what we started to do is look at the embedding spaces that the large language models send you to when you ask it for a specific creative idea for certain campaigns. So what you're looking at here is Gemini's outputs and responses to campaign ideas for Nike, for Gatorade, for Apple, and even like some small brands like Jordan's Furniture. So it was quite a range of brands. We then looked at what does that look like versus Anthropic and OpenAI. Okay. And what you start to see is these language models, as you would expect, are designed to give you the answer. They're answering machines. Yeah? But in creativity, we don't want the answer. We want to be able to find the answer. We want to explore where great ideas can go. So we ran the same process with springboards, and as a starting place, as a benchmark, we can see that the variation that we are pushing out, we've learned how to kind of break these models for variation instead, starts to inspire way, way more ideas. So you can compare that versus any model, and you can see versus a one-to-one model, it's like quite a significant difference. That's in a three-dimensional space, but we want to bring it down to a two-dimensional space, because with two-dimensional spaces, we can look at numbers. So we're going to go back to the deck, and I'm going to talk to you through pretty quickly around some of these numbers. So as I mentioned, we did it for a range of brands, different sizes, and different parts of our tools. What you're looking at here is our insights tool for a craft beer brand called Fella. The green dots are the outputs that are coming from springboards. The orange dots, in this case, are OpenAI, and the purple dots are Anthropic. And what we can pretty clearly see is that the spaces that we're sending to people are about 11 times the combined space of those two models combined. But the super, super, super interesting, and that's 3 supers in a row, part of this diagram is those little X's. What those little X's are is that when you saw that product demo, those things that people are highlighting and throwing onto the canvas, that's what those X's are. And what this shows us is that inspiration for ideas needs to come from variation. Yeah? We want to be dialing hallucinations up for this use case. And we've got to try to work out how do we break these models, because every other language model in the world is trying to dial those things down. And you can see that that pin area for the sparks or the pins is not as big as our area, because there's going to be some wastage, but we're constantly looking at how we want to optimize those two things. So we did the same for Nike with taglines and manifestos. It's another thing that our tool does. 36 times the variation in terms of space. And then also for Samsung, about 17 times the combined space of OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic. So we've run this test for 10, 15 brands across a range of different tools. But really for us, what this was about was setting up the benchmarks and the methodology for us to understand how do we continually push that space wider and wider, but also contract it when we need to as well. Because there's no point sending people to wilder and wilder spaces if it's not sparking and pinning ideas. So it's that relationship between sparks and variation that we're constantly looking at. For us, this is obviously just a start. This is the starting place for us to now start building and testing. And it definitely wouldn't have been doable without the help of Google and as part of this Google Accelerator program. So massive thank yous to the whole team, particularly Tanya, who I think is at the back. I did spot her, despite the bright lights in my eyes. Kieran, who's our CTO, is over in the corner over there. Ninad and Ben, who are in the dev team. There's obviously other devs and marketing and salespeople across the organization who've been doing other things as well, but they're not important for this presentation. They are for others. But I'll leave it at that, and I'll grab my laptop.
Thank you, Peep.
Pleasure.
So we have loved seeing tremendous interest that Springboard has been attracting. But I'm curious, can you share some of the names of your customers?
We don't share any names of the agencies we use. And the reason for that is that we're not trying to create just another SaaS business that chucks logos up on their website. we're not trying to claim creativity. We're trying to put the people involved in the tool on the platform. What I can say is that there's about 120 odd agencies, I think, from last count, Liz. There are agencies spread across Europe, North America, Australia, primarily traditional creative shops, some of literally the biggest agencies in the world, and probably some that you've never heard of as well. But yeah, so we don't share names. We don't name drop, sorry.
Makes sense. Thank you, Pete.
Cool. Peace.
So now I'm so thrilled to invite Sammy, head of the Global Accelerator Program. So please welcome Sammy to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are we all feeling? Yeah, can we get a round of applause for all these incredible founders and presentations? Just a huge congratulations to all the founders on their demo day today and completing the program. As Christine mentioned, I'm Sami. I'm responsible for Google's developer ecosystem initiatives, including our accelerators across Asia Pacific. And for the past 5 years, actually, I ran Google's Global Accelerator program. And I still look after that team. It's a lot of fun. I'm also a recovering founder, like many of the other Googlers in the room. But seriously, though, like many of the folks here, you know, the startup industry is just a lot more to me than just the job. You know, it was about 2010, so a little while ago, that I started my own first company in Singapore, which is where I'm based. And it was absolutely the most exhilarating and insightful and challenging and very exhausting experiences of my life, I would say. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, it's the reason why I am where I am today, and I have the clarity in terms of what I want to get done in life, you know, in the time I have. And it would have only been possible with the support that I got from my family, my friends, but also all the mentors and the investors and all those ecosystem builders that came to my aid, mostly, you know, just volunteering their time to be a part of it. And it just wouldn't have been possible every step of the way that it required for me to get that business up and running and running it for a few years. It just wouldn't have been possible without that. So, you know, that kind of support is just absolutely priceless. And it, you know, I feel very grateful. It's very lucky to be able to have access to those types of resources. But for many of us, and myself included, you know, it makes us wonder, you know, what would the world look like if every ambitious entrepreneur had, you know, with a vision for a brighter future, had access to these kind of resources. And together with my team members across Google, including Christine and Mike and many of the other folks you've seen here and around the world, I would say I've spent basically the past decade trying different ways of working with startups at Google so that we could help them succeed. You know, and that's been kind of the driving force for this program at Accelerator as well for so many of us. And that's the ethos, I would say, is really, can we find all those credible and relevant bits and pieces of Google that might actually be in need from startups, from founders? Can we get that to them anywhere in the world, and now here in Australia, and make that accessible? And sometimes it's products, sometimes it's expertise, and many times it's the industry network, you know, the external network that Google might have the privilege of you know, having access to, that we can bring to founders. So that's a really important part of how this program is designed and how it works. And there's a bunch of folks in here I know who've been part of that community and have volunteered their time to support the founders. So I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who've been a part of this journey and being part of the ecosystem, this startup ecosystem, but also our own Google Accelerator community. So thank you very much for that. Coming back to the startups, to all the founders that we have here, this is far from the end of the journey for you. I want to emphasize that, you know, you're now part of an alumni network that consists of over 1,600 startups around the world, including 20 unicorns at this point. We've got eFishery and Aruna and Halodoc and InstaDeep and Nubank and all these incredible companies around the world. And I look forward to seeing your names on that unicorn list soon enough. And we encourage you to reach out to all of your alumni around the world. If you don't have their contacts, reach out to us, and our team would be happy to introduce you. And also keep an open mind, because you may now be a source of inspiration to future alumni or even our existing alumni network. And so we hope you answer the call when a founder comes wanting to pick your brain for coffee and understand how you managed to do what you've done. So please keep that in mind. Please do stay in touch with us. Continue to give us feedback as you've done throughout the program. Thank you for all those forms you filled. And our accelerators, it is really a constant work in progress, and you've become a co-author of that program now with your feedback. We try to reiterate it and make it better each and every year. And while the program's been running for 8 years now, the accelerator here in Australia has just begun. So we've got a long way to go, and I'm looking forward to many years of working with many of you over that time. So the last thing I want to say is just thank you for your trust and your commitment. As a founder, I can say how skeptical I was about any sort of accelerator. When many of us first talked about running an accelerator at Google 8 years back, we thought, oh my gosh, we don't want to be part of that. This is going to be a waste of time, very precious time for these founders at this stage of their companies. And so it takes a leap of faith, and hopefully we design something that you can take something along with you that was valuable and useful, and that sticks with you. So thank you for that, for making that leap. That's all I've got. Congratulations again. Super, super excited to watch your journeys going forward, and best of luck. I will pass it back to Christine. Thank you all very much.
So that was a wrap. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone who supported our program. We could have done without your support. So really, really thank you. And thank you everyone for coming out today. And let's give a final round of applause for our 8 finalists. And please join us for some drinks and networking outside. And don't forget to collect your swag at the foyer. Thank you, everyone.